Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and welcome to another episode of my Out of the Park Baseball 19 playthrough with the Phillies. We are about 20 games left in the 2035 season. Just going to finish it out here in this episode. But the big story coming into this one is the absolute collapse we've had the second half of the season. Our goal was just to get a winning record this year. Pretty generous goal. We were on track through the middle of the season and through last episode, and we just had a major collapse. It's hard to explain what went on. I know our owner died midway through the year. I've never really seen that impact play to this big of a level, but I really don't know what all is going on. But it's just been a total collapse. Pitching, defense, offense, not good at all. We're 67 and 76 with 19 games to play. We would have to have just a miraculous finish to make the playoffs, obviously. But just to even finish above 500, we're going to have to, with 19 games, we would have to finish 15 and 4. So, not looking good. Not looking good at all. And I'm on my home screen, which is where I typically land when I'm starting these series. One thing that's just so evident to me, it's killing me, is the state of my minor league farm system. You look at the records here: AAA, Lehigh Valley, 31 and 110; Reading, AA, 39 and 99; Clearwater, which is my high A team, 36 and 104. Gets a little bit better when we go down to low A. Lakewood is 67, 72, and then pretty good overall in the short season A, 50-25. My DSL 1 team is winning. My DSL 2, they're at Dominican Rookie League, second league, they're at 500. So it's a struggle. One of the things I've mentioned before, it's been a struggle even when the drafts are good, and I have to believe that my drafts are okay because the way the performance has been in those rookie leagues is usually pretty good. It's just when they hit usually single A, it stays pretty good, but when they get to high A, double A, triple A, the prospects just fall apart. There's no development going on at all in this league, and I have been pretty active in hiring who I think are the right coaches and managers for the minors. I'm at a loss as to why that's happening. I don't know if some of you guys have watched or who watched this series and have kept up with it. If you're in a long playthrough yourself, I'd be interested to see or hear what kind of experience you've had with your farm system development, because this is really, I think, the biggest obstacle I've had to overcome, and the biggest reason I think that I am struggling right now to field a team that's consistently winning. And I'm going to be really in trouble. Of course, I should have a pretty decent draft pick next year, but I'm going to be in trouble once again going into that off season because even though I have some money left, it's going to be another rebuild this off season more than likely, and it's going to be tough to do. But let's go ahead and just jump into how the league's doing, and then we'll look at how we've done so far. So a big surprise here, the Marlins have almost run away with the National League East. The Braves have took a tumble. They're 9 games back. The Marlins' magic number is 12. Pittsburgh, they're cruising in the Central, although the Cubs are just a game and a half back. The Reds already eliminated. They're having a tough year. And then the Padres are on top in the West with the Dodgers not too far behind in some ways, but they're going to have a tough time to overcome San Diego. And if you look at the wild card right now, I mean, it's probably going to come down to one of these two teams in the Central, either Pittsburgh or Chicago, and then who's going to catch Washington for that second spot. You got the Braves and Brewers all within 2 games. Individually, the Pirates still, they got those great young players there. He's Juan Larari, I don't know how you say that. He's injured for the rest of the year, though, but he's a pretty good overall player with a lot of speed and hits for high average. Juan Renaga's having a good year. He bounced back from injuries. He's going to have another solid year for him. But he's not listed as fragile yet, but he has had some injury problems. One of the bright spots for us, Lohman is third in the league in ERA or RBIs, and Vargas is leading the league in stolen bases. This guy's been up and down all year. He is currently on a 3-game suspension. He got thrown out of a game for a fight not too long ago. And then the pickup I had in the offseason, Rob LaRue, hasn't been too bad for the most part. He's leading the league in strikeouts. He should finish well over 200, so that's another positive for me. And if I look at the American League, Boston, they're up in the American League East, not by much though. Baltimore, New York, just 3 games back. Chicago and Detroit, they're fighting it out in the Central. And then Houston running away with the West. They're currently 10 games up. For the wild card, it looks like Detroit or Chicago, same deal as in the National League Central. One of those teams is probably going to win the division. One's going to make the wild card. And then it's going to be Texas, maybe even Kansas City, Cleveland, those guys fighting for that second wild card spot. Chris McCurry, a guy who's been in this playthrough for a while, won an MVP award before. He's leading the league in home runs and RBIs. Chris Woodley, another former MVP, he's having a good year again at Tampa Bay. Pitching-wise, Rocky Stroman, this guy, he has won a Cy Young Award before, too, as a matter of fact. He's leading the league in wins, having another solid year. 29 years old. He's put together some pretty good years for his career. I don't know if this guy's going to be Hall of Fame caliber before it's all said and done. And then OMB still leading the league by a long shot and or by a long margin in strikeouts. This guy, I've talked about him before. He's up to 1,750 strikeouts already. He's going to put up some good numbers, I think, for his career. And one of the mistakes I made, I laughed about it after the episode, but I in that Reds playthrough, which is basically just in the 2021 season, I kept looking for Ian Plyler. I was like, where did he go? And finally realized that it was the Phillies playthrough that I was looking at. I've been keeping an eye on him just to see how quick he's going to collapse, and he has really collapsed quick. He's just now a 2-star pitcher. He is 5-14, 123 strikeouts. I don't even know if he's in their starting rotation. Let me double check. But that was a huge blow for. Yeah, he's listed as 4th in the rotation, but that was a huge blow for St. Louis to sign him to that long-term contract and to see him just crash like that. Now let's go ahead and let's take a look at this collapse that I'm talking about for us, looking at the team stats. We're first in the league in stolen bases, strikeouts, base on balls. Offensively, we haven't been too bad, but pitching is terrible. Last in several categories, three categories if you count defensive efficiency, and 13th in starters ERA, 14th in a lot of categories. I've decided that I'm going to be looking for a pitching coach at the end of this year, even though this guy's listed as great. His contract's up this year. I'm not going to re-sign him. I don't really think he's been what I needed. You know, his ERA since he's been with me has always been above 4. Even though we made it playoffs a couple times with this guy, it's obvious, I think, at this point that I need an upgrade at pitching coach. I'm hoping that may help in the offseason. But back to the stats, the big thing here is the record. We had that great June, which is what I was covering that last episode. We were really on pace to even contend for the playoffs. And then July, we were 8-16. We were 11-17 in August, 3-6 in September so far. It's just been a really big disappointment how we played. Individually, some of these pictures that I picked up, even though McSparron has had a decent year, and I'm still okay with the fact that I re-signed him. Prieto has really been a bust. Madrak has been even bigger bust. He's a 3-star pitcher. I got him for another year at a high contract, $18 million. He's just not performed the way I thought he would, especially the second half. He's 10-13, a 4.82 ERA. Some of the guys in the bullpen outside of Espinal, they've been really shaky. Some of the guys I used to depend on a lot, like Mendoza, Medina, really having a bad year. And then Roland, he's 35. He'll be 36 next year. My new owner, which was the son of the owner who died, is wanting this guy to be re-signed, and I just don't see it. He's a 3.5-star reliever. He's wanting he's not even interested in re-signing with me, and I think it is time to let him move on. Urena is a guy I picked up in a trade with Chicago around the deadline, I think. He hasn't been good at all. And I traded away, I picked him up off waivers. I still think 30 years old, 31 years old, he's a 3-star pitcher. I don't know if I'll keep him. He might even be a better bet to put into the rotation, but I wanted to give Furlong more time to develop. And in honesty, even though he's just a 2-star pitcher, I like his individual ratings. I just wish his fastball would get a little bit better. And overall, in 13 starts, I'm fairly pleased with what he's doing. I think he could probably fit in that 5th spot. I don't think that would be too big of a stretch for him. Now, looking at the lineups, Quarting, after having that great first half, was an all-star. He's struggled the second half. If you look at July, he hit 246. He was 146 in August. He's hitting 111 so far in September. He's been really struggling. I brought up Lockyer just to give him more time. Ma's having a pretty good year overall, but he's struggled since the All-Star break. Lohman, production-wise, is looking really good. Single hasn't been too bad. He's come off his pace as well. Kevin Cox, just a mystery to me still why he's not playing, or why he's not hitting better, but he's getting most of the time at first right now. And then Eddie Tipton has been one of the biggest, if not the biggest, offensive prizes. He's defensively, he's okay, but offensively, a 305 average, shows good power. He's got good speed. I'm kind of liking this guy for the most part. I don't know if he's going to be a long-term solution to start in right, but he's had one of the better consistent seasons on the team. And before I finish out the year, the disabled list started getting to me too. I think we talked about Ood going out in that last episode. I lost Villa, and he might have a hard time coming back before the season's over. So I'm going to have to make some decisions with this guy. He's up for arbitration. I don't think I want to sign him to a long-term contract. I'll see what arbitration looks like for him. But the big thing that I was afraid of when I signed him was how healthy he's going to be. And once again, he's going to wind up missing almost half the year. And when he's in there, he's very productive and he brings a lot to the table. But I don't think he's going to be somebody I can depend on full time. And then losing Wright and Montalvo, those are two big hits in the bullpen too. I think that hurt us and is why we've struggled so much. And I'm going to look one more time to see if I got anybody I could bring up in the minors. Roca, I think I just called up. No, he's been there all season, but I don't know that he's somebody worth giving a look at this point. Pacheco, same deal. I'm not going to start him, and he was just somebody who filled in like some minor league free agent, if you want to call it that. But when I filled out the rosters, he just landed in Lehigh Valley. I don't see him having a future with this team. So let's go ahead and let's just play it out. We're going to start out on the road with Arizona. 19 games left. Let's see if we can end on a positive note. And we start out with a win, 8-7. Tipton again, 3 for 4, drove in 3. Lockyer had a a good game for him. And McSparran picked up his 11th win. Wasn't too great in this one, but I'll take it. And then Medina got the save. This is another guy I called up. I don't know what he'll bring to the table, and I probably want to make sure. Yeah, he's avoid high leverage, so that's good. So see if there's any news. We're probably going to start seeing a lot of news on the teams not making the playoffs, but a no-hitter from Tim Moore, 3-star pitcher for Toronto. And so now second game against Arizona. Man, a 8-9 month injury there from the minors, but he's not one of my bigger prospects. Second game, we win 8-6, and Montalvo is eligible to come off the DL. And then at this point, of course, I'm not going to worry too much about trying to give these guys rehab time. I'm going to put him as a setup guy, and probably 7th or later for him. So let's see how we won this one. 8-6. Koopman, 4 for 5. Good game for him. Another good game from Tipton. Kevin Cox drove in 3, so he's got an outside chance of hitting 100 RBIs this year. And then Madrak pitched a good game to get his 11th win. Espinal got the save. Espinal has taken over the closer duties because I'm just trying to give him more time in that role because I really think he's going to be my closer of the future. So now we'll look at the news. J.J. Lohman is out for 3 to 4 weeks. It's so tempting, honestly, to just turn the injuries down because you have seasons like this, and it's really frustrating. So I don't think I have anybody I can call up. So let me see what that does. I guess I'm going to have to put Koopman in at third. Nah, he's so bad at third. Maybe single. He can't play third. Oh my gosh. Padilla, he's first base only. So this is what I'm going to have to go with, I think. And let me double check, make sure there's nothing I can pick up off the waiver wire. Here's Luis Castillo, starter. Not too shabby, in all honesty. 2.5 stars. 30-year-old, he's going to be going for arbitration this year. And let me see who I'm going to lose in that pitching staff. I'm going to lose Prado and Furlong. Furlong will be around, so I don't think I'll go for him right now. Maybe there'll be something better in free agency. But I guess I'm going to have to bring up some infielders, even though there's nobody really. Would it be this guy, second short? Or this guy, third and short? I'll bring him up because I really need somebody to back up here. So let him back up second, third, and short. And I think he's got a little bit of speed, so I'm going to put him as a pinch runner behind Andres. And then I'll move Stern and give him some play time. And then so Koopman's going to be at third. That's going to be a really tough one. Unless I wanted to put... Now he can play third base a little bit. And let's see, Koopman can play second. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move Ma to third. Put this guy in backing up. And I really need to move things around here too, so that actually, let me put him there, and then against lefties, and then against righties. Koopman's not going to be. I'll put him there, and then one more move here. So Ma will be playing third, and then Koopman will be playing second. And then this guy will be... And I'm dealing with an injury there from Van Singel as well. Kind of crazy the way this thing's turning out. Let him get some hits here. And Andres, I need to get him some play time there. Although Andres has been a little bit of a bust. Quite a bit of a bust, honestly. So last thing here, and then we'll be ready to go. So unfortunately, that's going to mean that I'm going to let Andres get... Okay, so unfortunately... There we go. That means that Lohman is going to probably not make it to 100 RBIs for the season. So we swept Arizona on the road. Now we're at 70 and 76. Koopman 3 for 5, drove in 5. So he took to that being in the starting lineup pretty good. Furlong, not too great. 4 innings, 3 runs, but the bullpen held it for us. And now we're going to be on the at home against Miami. Miami just playing really good right now. First game, we lose 2-3, a close one. Vargas is back in the lineup now. Ma looks like he may have hit a home run. LaRue pitched a good game, 8 innings, 9 strikeouts, but Espinal blew the save. So we would have won that game had he not blown the save. Then we lose 4-7. Ma 3 for 4. Lockyer pinch hit home run. Prieto got his 10th loss. Not good when you're considering just 6 wins. And now the last game against Miami, and we lose in extra innings 3-4. Vargas was 3 for 6 in the game. Ma was 3 for 5. Got 7 innings out of McSparron, but the bullpen couldn't hold it. So now we're going to be playing the Cardinals. And player of the week was Kellen Gales, a rookie for Colorado. And we are 22nd in the weekly power rankings. The Mets out of the playoffs right now. We're not too far behind them. I'm going to check the waiver wire just to see if there's anyone. Nope, nobody's coming through there. So at least we're at home against St. Louis. First game we win 3-1. 2 for 4 from Catula, who's getting a lot of the starting duties now with Villa out of the lineup. And then Madrak, his 12th win, another solid outing, 7 innings, no earned runs. Espinal picked up the 10th save. And now 71 and 79. It's getting really down to the wire in terms of we can salvage a winning record here. Second game against St. Louis, we lose 7-14, a big one. Mike Cochran, 3 home runs in the game. And Marlins are in the playoffs. And then Houston's in the playoffs as well. So offensively, Catula, another good game. Cox was 2 for 5. Tipton 2 for 4. I wonder if Van Single is still hurting. I mean, he's out for, he's going to be hurt for 2 more weeks. I just don't have anybody who's going to be able to take up for him. And Medina, I think it's time to get rid of Medina because he wants to be in the starting rotation, and he's got a vesting option that it looks like he's not going to make. So I'm going to have to get rid of him anyway. It's unfortunate because he was a fan favorite and he was a good lefty reliever, but he's just not going to make it. And looks like that last game was rained out against St. Louis. So the Marlins clinched the East, and Astros capture the American League West. So now it's a 4-game series against New York. First game we lose 5-7. So we're at 71 and 81. So the odds of getting even to 500 now are looking pretty slim. And LaRue, 5 innings, 3 earned runs. The bullpen just looked terrible. So now, looking at the news again, big injury for Baltimore. One of their best young players there is going to be out for the rest of the season. And Philadelphia, we are out of the playoffs. And pressure off, we win the game 6-4. Myrie a good game there at shortstop. Dutch drove in a couple. And then Prieto, a complete game. 9 innings, just 3 earned runs to pick up his 7th win. Seattle out. Chicago, looks like the Cubs are in the playoffs. And third game against New York. We win barely 11-10. Looks like a slugfest there. And we got a few retirements there from the rookie league team. And Detroit's in the playoffs. Vargas a good season or a good game here. 3 for 5. He's on pace still for 100 plus runs. So that's I wish his average would get up better, but he's still getting on base, which has been pretty good. Madrak looked terrible in this game. 5 innings, 9 runs, 5 earned. Paget managed to get the win in relief. So the 4th game against New York will win again, 6-2. Koopman a good game, 2 for 4, scored 2, drove in 2. McSparren solid, 7 innings, just 1 earned run, no walks, 5 Ks, and he got his 12th win. So 1 away from his career high. Players of the week, Savello for Boston, a good young player they've got going there, and then Pete Hawkins for Washington in the National League. And weekly power rankings, we're up to 16th. So standings, we've won 3 in a row. For the month now, we started out this episode, we were 3-6, so we're 10-11 now. We're playing a little bit better. And looking at the standings with 1 week to go, it's going to be a busy week, it looks like. So you got Boston and Baltimore slugging it out, 1 game between them for that American League East. Chicago and Detroit, just 2 games between those. The Astros are in. They clinched the American League West. And then Miami's in. The Braves right now are tied with Washington for that last wild card spot, and Brewers are just a half game out. So that's going to be a good race to see how that finishes up. Lohman did hit 100 RBIs, so he did manage to make that there towards the end of the season. So let's go finish out the year. So we got 7 games left the way I'm showing, but there might be 1 game that one rainout we may not get to. So we're on the road against Atlanta and New York. First game against Atlanta, we could play the spoiler here and keep them out. So it's 7-3, pretty good win there. Pittsburgh is in the playoffs now. So Vargas 2 for 4, Cox 2 for 4, 94 RBIs for him. So he's got an outside chance at 100 still. Furlong got his 6th win, looked good in the game. Second game against Atlanta, lost 2-3, so that puts us below 500 for the year. Now we got some injuries. Van Singel. I know I should put this guy on DL, but LaRue had a tough loss there. 6 innings, just 3 earned runs. Look at the news. So Cubs win the Central. Dodgers are out. Padres win the West. Let me see if I can just. He's day to day. I'm leaving him in. We got 4 games left here. So, third game against Atlanta, we win the series 5-3. Vargas was 2 for 5, scored 2 runs, so that puts him over 100 for the year. Ma got his 2 RBIs. He's at 99, so just 1 away from 100 for him. Prieto got his 8th win. He pitched a little bit better there down the stretch. And then Yankees out, Tampa Bay out. So now we're going to finish up on the road against New York. Lose that first one 4-6. Lou Villa is eligible to come off. So I'm going to go ahead and put him in there right away and let him finish out the year. Hopefully he'll have a nice series here to close it out. Wait, that wasn't what I wanted to do. right, so 4-6. Madrak, another terrible game. 4 innings, 6 earned runs. I'm kind of regretting that trade for him. He didn't help me at all. I traded for him when I was winning, and I thought, one more piece of the puzzle, and I may contend for the playoffs, but it didn't turn out that way. So Mav picked up his 100th RBI. Kevin Cox, 97 RBIs for the year. And then White Sox they win the American League Central. The Rangers are in the playoffs. Second game against New York, we win in extra innings, 8-7 and 10. Vargas scored a run in this one. Tipton may have been a pitch hit home run there. Good job from him. McSparran, 5 innings, 3 runs. I don't think he's going to get his 13th win, which would have been a career high for him, but overall, pretty decent year from him. So back to the news. Let's see. Orioles out. Red Sox win the American League East, and the Nationals are in. Got that wild card. And then we win 4-2 against the Mets, so we're 78 and 83. We've played a little bit better to close out the season. Tipton, a good game, 3 for 4. Cox, 2 for 5, scored 2, drove in 1. Ma, 2 for 4, 3 RBIs. So he had a solid year. And Furlong picked up his 7th win, just 1 earned run in 5 innings. Espinal got the save. So we're at October 1st, and we got one more game left. And I'm going to go ahead and play out that game, and then we'll look at some of the news here. So we win against St. Louis to close it out, 79 and 83. Vargas scored another run, so he finished the year with 103 runs, but that averaged 262. He did lead the league in stolen bases, 3.4 wins above replacement. Overall, I think that's a pretty decent offensive year, but would be nice to get that average up a little bit. He's a career 272 hitter. I think at this point, that's I'm looking at what I'm going to get from him. But let's see. Villa had a good game, 2 for 4, drove in 3, or scored 3, drove in 2. Koopman looked good. He might be in the mix for. I think he'll certainly have a good chance of making the bench next year. But Kevin Cox finished with 99 RBIs, so 1 short of 100. Quartan got his average back up to 268. So for him in August and September was 284. So he came back a little bit towards the end of the season. And LaRue got his 13th win, 6 strikeouts, 219 strikeouts for the year, 3.72 ERA, 3.4 wins above replacement. In this league, that's middle of the road. So for that contract of $14 million, I know that was pretty high, but I think he gave me what I could expect at this point. So I want to look at the news, and the first thing I want to do is look at the player development update. We got Salcido is a guy I tried. He didn't get much play time, but I don't think with that movement he's got much chance to develop. He is still just 25, so we'll not give him a little bit of chance. Zach Rowland, who is going to be gone this year, so not much to concern me there. Juan Mendoza, he's up to 4.5 with a 5-star potential. Didn't have a great year, but I'm still depending on this guy in the bullpen. I think he's going to be a good either setup or middle reliever for a while. Eric Furlong is now, he picked up maybe some stuff, control, movement. Maybe those ratings went up, but that fastball is not, I don't think it's going to be good enough for him to be a legitimate starter. Van Singel lost some numbers, so I'm probably going to be looking for an upgrade at shortstop. And then Kevin Cox, I think it's time to trade this guy away if I can get somebody for him. In some ways, the productivity is not too bad. It's just the average is just really stinking. He's a career 235 hitter, 0.7 wins above replacement, and 3 years of primarily starting. So I don't think he's gonna really hang on. Vargas lost a contact and I rating. That's not good from him. Juan Capilla, he improved some ratings, but he's not going to be a good enough player to make the majors. Chayo Castilla, same deal. Let's see if I'm looking for some of my big prospects. I'm not seeing much. Luis Alvarado, even though he's injured for 8 months, his ratings improved a little bit. Ian Rowell. Now going further down into, this is Jeremy Tuck. Outside chance he might make it eventually. Just depends on how he develops. He's at Lakewood right now. I might move him up to high A next year based on those ratings. We'll see. Chris Elliott's another guy who might, outside chance, might make it. I'll probably move him up to high A. Ian Norman, big first round pick in 2034. He's not developing like I would like to see him develop. OSA still thinks he's a 5-star. He'll probably get a call up to high A next year, but he's definitely not going to be on a fast track. Billy Hessen, Steve, once again, I mean, not too much positives in that minor league farm system. So batters of the month in September, Savello, who finished with 51 home runs for Boston, was in the American League batter of the month. September, Kalen Gales for Colorado. Jim Pearson was the pitcher of the month in the American League, and National League went to reliever Yamas at Chicago. Rookies of the month, Yaramillo for Detroit, Gales again for Colorado. We moved up in the power rankings, so we finished not too bad. So I'm gonna see how it finished up for the playoffs. So we got Boston, Chicago, Houston winning the American League in their divisions, and then Detroit and Texas in the wild card. You had 3 guys here with 51 home runs, so I haven't seen that in a while. Tied for the league. Winners, 15 was the high there, and then Zach Owenby, 279 strikeouts to lead the league. Matt Harris, 46 saves. Batting average, it was Renaga finished strong, 44 home runs, 110 RBIs for the year, and he missed almost 35 games. Jeremy Mack at Cincinnati had 50 home runs to lead the league. Vargas did lead the league in stolen bases, so he's at 323 for his career. Ma was on a couple leaderboards there. Wins above replacement, he was second, so he'll probably get some MVP consideration. Eric Winter at Cincinnati, a 2-star pitcher, he led the league with 16 wins. Another weak year for pitchers, and looks like my guy there for LaRue did not finish in the top 3 in strikeouts. He's probably top 5 or so, and then 42 saves. So not some of the numbers that we're used to seeing. I mean, we're used to seeing some higher home run totals from both leagues and saves, for instance, but didn't see it this year. Brandon Kinsler led the American League in wins above replacement. Another solid year for him. I don't know if that'll put him in that MVP, how that'll shake out, but he's won it 3 times. If you look at his leaderboard there, or his, it's soon going to take up his whole background. So that's going to be it for this episode, I guess. I'll go through the playoffs and a little bit of the off season. We'll start with arbitration and see how we do. And I'll have as usual, I'll have some holes to fill. It looks like right now I think I'm going to have to fill for sure. I'd like to pick up another starter, and I didn't realize it, but LaRue was injured there at the end. Hopefully that's not going to be a long-term injury, but we got McSparron, Madrak, and LaRue hopefully coming back. Prieto will be gone. Furlong will be back. I don't think he'll make it. So I'm going to pick up 1 or 2 more starters. May have to flesh out the bullpen a little bit. I don't think it's too big of a problem there. And then I think Quarting is going to be in that catcher role for a while. First base still a struggle. Shortstop, first base, and maybe another outfielder or two. I got a lot to overcome here. And upcoming free agents, we're going to lose Lucky, who's got a pretty big salary there. And then pitching wise, we're going to lose Ood or Urena. I don't plan on keeping him. I think he was just a risk I took that didn't play out. Brolin, I'll lose him. That's $11 million. So I'm going to have some, and Prieto is 8.2. So I'm going to have some salary to play around with in the offseason. So that'll be good. But a lot of work to do, and that's what I'm going to do in the offseason. We'll come back probably around winter meetings or so in this next episode, recap how the offseason's gone, look at some of the awards, and hope that I kept my job. To be honest, that may be the biggest concern after this year. We finished 79 and 83. At least we finished, I think, yeah, we did finish a winning record in September and October. So maybe that'll be enough to keep our job. But as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next episode.